Welcome back. Night 7, 8, kind of losing track. But looky here. Look at my little St. Louis glass with the Arch and Bud Light. And inside that, we have a nice little Michelob Ultra. Kind of a low-key, not a complicated, low-carb, delicious summer beer. Mostly for me. Well, all the time for the carbs. Okay, so we're going back to Tanya. She was yelling at her daddy about crop dust in the town in an airplane. My sister, LaCosta, was born in 1950, delivered by the same doctor who brought Larry Gatlin into the world 2 years earlier. Well, wasn't that just a potpourri of country stars just all coming out in one place? Although we were living in Denver City, LaCosta and I were born 18 miles away in Seminole, where the family doctor lived. I was born October 10th, 1958. She's a Libra! Yes! I knew there was a reason I took to her. I'm a Libra too. September 30th. If anybody has any cute pet pictures on September 30th, send them to my Twitter account. I like that. I was born October 10th, and the same year before they invented hula hoops. What a strange thing to know. I had a close call before I was even born. When Mom was 3 months pregnant, I came loose from her uterus. Came loose. It was touch and go there for several weeks, and Mom and Dad were scared to death that they would lose me, but somehow I settled in and all was just fine. I'm going to say there's a little bit more to that. I don't think a baby just cuts loose from the uterus. And then, clearly it happened. I'm going to say there's some information left out. But somehow I settled in and all was just fine. The experience taught her something about me, though. It was just the first example of how I've been trying to bust loose my whole life. Unlike LaCosta, who was named for my mom's friend LaCosta Edwards, I was given a stranger's name Mom picked out of the Denver City newspaper. There was a christening notice about the banker's new granddaughter, Tanya. My middle name, though, came from my mom's friend, Dorothy Ellard, had called her daughter Denise, another name my parents love, so she's Tanya Denise. We're on chapter 2. My dad says I've always been ornery. A lot of country people use that word a lot, just for the record, and I know because I've lived in the country, and they go, you're just being ornery. Ornery is a hornet. It's hard to spell, too, because it's spelled O-R-N-E-Y. It doesn't sound like it should be spelled like that. My dad says I've always been ornery as the devil, and people who know us well say I take after him. Ooh, the devil or your father? I guess she says means her father. And that should come as no surprise since he's been the single biggest influence on my life, her daddy. He always had high hopes and big dreams, and because of him, I grew up believing I could do anything. Well, yeah, when he's buzzing the town in a B-13. For instance, when I was 4, Dad started teaching me how to drive the Volkswagen he owned. I don't think my mother had ever gotten over the horror she felt a few weeks later when Dad sat me behind the wheel and told her to pile in it because we were going for a ride. I not only drove around the block, but I parked the thing when we drove back in the yard. In spite of the fact that my name is the Texas Tornado, which is a great nickname that she definitely earned. We moved from Texas to Arizona when I was only about a year and a half, so I don't remember much about living in Denver City. I love Texas now, but my childhood memories are from Cochise County and Wilcox, Arizona. Oh, is that from the songs? No, that's Winslow, Arizona. Where one of America's great singing cowboys, Rex Allen, was born. No, doesn't ring a bell with me, but I'm not a big country, old school country, but I don't know Rex Allen. Even now, every October, the city celebrates Rex Allen Days. Well, maybe I'll try to get booked during that week to see what's going on. Celebrates Rex Allen Days with a rodeo, a parade, and concerts. As soon as I was old enough to ride horses, I was the first in line to ride in the parade. The history of this area is rich and filled with amazing tales that are told and retold by locals. I think my love of storytelling tradition in song and all of the things Western is rooted right there in them Sulphur Springs Valley. We made the move to Wilcox because of the strong farming industry that had developed by the late 50s. Farmers in Sulphur Springs Valley grew chili peppers, oh, delicious. Potatoes, delicious. Soybeans, corn, and cotton. They grew so much of it that when the water table dropped drastically during the war years, to counter that problem at various times over the next several decades, people were hired to come in and drill deeper wells. Dad was always looking for a better way to better our situation. So when he heard about the good job opportunities for drillers, he went right in. Unfortunately, housing was tight. Old timers around Wilcox say there's a housing shortage even back in the town's early days when we moved there in 1960, and it was still in short supply. The first place we lived was an old house that had been divided into several apartments, one of which had been condemned because of weak floors or something. We lived in the front, and another family lived in the back. The middle apartment was condemned and one empty. Costa and I loved sneaking around and peering through the windows in those dusty, dangerous rooms. Okay, so we're moving on. And it's going to take a little bit to get to Glen Campbell, but I think patience is something we all need to exhibit during this quarantine. And patience will bring a lot of good stuff as this book goes on. All right, I'm going to watch Ozark. It's basically the story of my teenage years in the Ozarks. So if you haven't seen Ozark, Netflix, check it out. Excellent.